Governor Tim Walz and DFL legislative leaders released budget targets this week, utilizing the state's $17.5 billion budget surplus to supplement spending in more than 30 budget areas, including $3 billion earmarked for tax relief, aids, and credits. The DFL plan is in marked contrast to a tax relief proposal put forward by the Republicans. Joining me to talk more about it is the ranking member of the Senate Tax Committee, Senator Bill Weber. Thanks for joining me.
You're most welcome. Glad to be here.
The Republican tax plan would have used significantly more of the budget surplus for tax relief, $13 billion. Before we get into the nuts and bolts of the Republican plan, what's your view of the DFL budget targets and in particular the $3 billion that they have allocated for tax relief?
Well, quite frankly, I believe it's woefully inadequate. When you're looking at a surplus of, well, the official surplus is $17.5 billion. If we wouldn't have done their accounting shift to begin with, it would be $19 billion of surplus. That is money that the taxpayers of Minnesota have paid in over and above what was needed to run the state of Minnesota. They deserve some of it back, and they deserve much more than $3 billion. And so I really am disappointed in that target for tax relief for Minnesotans. If you look at what the agreement was a year ago without the extra surplus, a much smaller surplus, the governor had agreed to $4 billion of tax relief at that point. So it's even less than what they had agreed to with a smaller surplus. And that's just not adequate for the taxpayers of Minnesota.
Republicans and some DFLers campaigned during last campaign season on the idea of completely eliminating tax on Social Security income in Minnesota. Why is it important that Minnesota completely stop taxing Social Security income?
Well, for one thing, it's creating an incentive for many of our senior citizens to change their state of domicile. People complain about removing the income tax on all of Social Security benefits. Well, you're benefiting the rich. Well, guess what? It's the rich, the upper echelons of our income-producing people who retired as such that can afford to change their residence. If they have family here, yeah, fine. They'll be back here for 5 months and 29 days. And they will have a place somewhere else. They will change their residence. And quite frankly, we're going to lose a lot more tax revenue than the $1.3 billion per biennium that removing the income tax on Social Security benefits would cost the state of Minnesota.
The GOP plan also recommends offering $5 billion of the surplus in rebate checks. First, how much does that mean for each taxpayer?
We were looking at $1,250 per single person and $2,500 per married couple, and which is a good bump of money coming back in to them. And some people have questioned, well, you were pretty lukewarm to the governor's idea of a rebate last year. Well, I would also remind people that our surplus is much larger this year. So we have, and last year we were emphasizing, let's have ongoing tax relief. Every week, every month, every paycheck, that was what we wanted to do for the people of Minnesota. This year, quite frankly, we have enough of a surplus in order to do both.
Now, you mentioned that Governor Walz has also proposed rebate checks, and it's unclear whether the legislative DFL majorities support that at this point. But new information lately from some economists, including Minneapolis Federal Reserve Bank President Neel Kashkari, they're warning that rebate checks could drive inflation higher. Is that of concern to you?
Well, so will the spending of $14 billion additional money over and above any tax benefits going back to the taxpayers. The governor's proposal is going to raise state spending over $14 billion from our previous budget. And, that is what will generate inflation. Just like the overspending at the federal level has generated inflation across the country. As we look at those folks that are in the lower income brackets, as we look at senior citizens, when you all of a sudden have $5 eggs, you have 35% increase in their energy costs. Inflation has taken a real hard hit on them. When you look at our families that, when they're trying to provide food every day for their families, Used to be, like I said, eggs were a cheap meal. Now at $5 a dozen, that's no longer a cheap meal for them. Inflation has hit these people very hard. And quite frankly, it's bringing this money back to them in terms of a rebate, in terms of reduced tax amounts, would really help them at the end of the day.
Now you mentioned families, because another part of this platform is a proposal that would give $1,800 tax credit per child under 18 for the next 2 years. So I assume helping to cover the cost of having children is part of that. But what is the rationale then for that $1,800?
Well, there again, all of our costs have risen, but you know, the cost to raise a child these days continues to go up. And we want to make sure whether we're talking about child care, whether we're talking about feeding our children, whether we're talking about providing clothing and getting them to all their events and the cost of the events, all these costs continue to go up. This credit would, you know, for this one time would help them weather the inflationary storm that we've experienced. And, you know, and I think the other thing that we need to talk about while we're talking about our children, and let's talk about education for a little bit. I visited with my superintendents last week, and we hear great discussion from the other side of the aisle about the extra money that they're going to put into education. Now let's talk about the additional costs to education. If my superintendents have been doing the math, something that many people in St. Paul have real difficulty in accomplishing. And as they started to add the costs of all these different mandates that they're placing on education, whether we're going to talk about paid family leave, whether we're going to talk about curriculum, whether we're going to talk about all the other requirements that they wish to place on education in the Education Committee on our schools, they're looking and telling me they're looking at a 27 to a 35% increase in their cost to provide education. And what are the Democrats talking about? 5% roughly extra per student on the formula? They said if you have a choice between no mandates and no increase in funding, go with the no mandates, because quite frankly, under their plan, we're going to be in a losing proposition. And so we're going to have to do one of two things. We either have to pass that cost on to the real estate taxpayers, which we can't do and survive, or we have to start reducing and eliminating programs. So that's the choices that we're being given in the education of our children.
Now you mentioned real estate. One of your areas of expertise is property tax, and another part of this platform is your proposal that would provide property tax relief through increases in the homestead market value exclusion. So first tell me what that means, and then tell me what that means for Minnesotans.
Okay. You have three types of homestead value exclusion. One is for residential property, one is for agricultural homestead property, and the other one is for resort homestead property. And we included all three in our proposal. And basically, years ago, people always knew what a homestead credit was. If you lived in a home, or you lived on your farm, or you were a operator, resident of a resort, you got a credit against your real estate tax for the fact that it was your homestead. Well, as values went up, that credit kept going up, and it got to be to a point where it was too expensive for the state. So they went to a homestead value exclusion. That is, a portion of your value is excluded if it is your homestead. Now, what they did is they started to phase that out. You know, it was in place up until $70-some thousand, and then by the time you got to $400-some thousand for a residential property, you basically ran out of that, and so you didn't get any benefit from that exclusion anymore. What we propose is a 25% increase in that residential value exclusion, and therefore that would take it up to $500-some thousand, and they would continue to get benefit for those increased values.
So another tax benefit part of the Republican, not just yours, but the whole Republican proposal. Senator Bill Weber, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.